over 150 years, the Kentucky Derby has stood as the most enduring tradition in American sports. And in our time, one stallion is reshaping its legacy. Back-to-back Derby winners. His first son at stud siring another. A dynasty in motion. A motion that again has forward momentum toward Louisville, with another elite crop of 3-year-olds bearing his genes. Spendthrift Farm, home of Into Mischief.
Knowledge, it ain't free. You gotta pay attention and don't believe the hype. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I am more than pleased to welcome my friend and world-class rider, Umberto Rispoli, to Pass the Wire TV at a pretty exciting time in horse racing. And Umberto, what's got to be a very exciting time for you.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me. No, for sure, it's an amazing. It's been an amazing time already. Seems the San Felipe and the Derby. So going to those 3 weeks, they're gonna be a long 3 weeks, but I'm very excited.
Let me ask you this: when did you start thinking? I mean, you've ridden journalism, you know, throughout his career. When did you start thinking that you're really on something special, and this might be the type of horse that can take you to Louisville on the first Saturday in May?
I have to be honest with you. I think after Los Alamitos, after the race of Los Alamitos, we see something special. You know, people can think then, you know, was a Los Al, no one of the, let's say, main track in United States, but to me is one of the fair and tough racetrack in United States because the stretch is long, the track is playing speed, and it can gives you a lot of clear mind about, you know, how the horses can progress going further. And you know what we saw that day, I think it was a pretty special from a horse. Then he coming back like just 20 days after his maiden at Del Mar. Right. We were a little bit short in time, but look, he put himself in a great spot. He's a horse. Then he takes every single races where he ran in very good. So, and that day actually he won going away. That's what that there I start to think. I say, well, I think there is something special in this guy.
Now, when he ran first time as a 3-year-old in the San Felipe, I thought you were in kind of a unique position. I thought you were in a position where it's his first start at 3. There's really no pressure. We don't have to win today. We can get a good race into him, come back in the Santa Anita Derby, win, you know, try and win that, as opposed to really going all out in the San Felipe. But in the San Felipe, he kind of exploded. Can you tell me a little bit about what was the plan going into that race? Did he surprise you? Did he come out, you know, with even more than you might have thought or even asked him for that day?
Look, what the good thing is behind everything has to you have to have a great plan. The plan was, as you said, you know, the target wasn't the San Felipe, and as well as the Santa Anita Derby. Our target after Los Alamitos was to be in a healthy and a good shape and make sure the horse could get the first weekend of May at Churchill. So obviously that day, as you said, there was not too much pressure, as the horse was his first race campaign at 3 years old, the 1-all, 2 buffers in the race. So we just want to see him running well and get him fit, getting better for the Santa Anita Derby, and then, you know, probably being a main target before the Kentucky Derby. Obviously, I think, you know, when you have such a great owner behind you and a great trainer gives a good preparation to the horse, they put you in a spot where you can give 100% confidence about the horse that you are riding. And I think Aaron and all the partners with Michael McCarthy, they do an amazing job with the horse. So, you know, it comes from a long way out. We give the horse, I think, everything was planned, you know, like San Felipe, Santa Anita Derby, and then obviously, you know, you need to see how things goes before to say, okay, we're ready to go to the Kentucky Derby. But Look, so far everything went in our way, even with some trouble, which is a part of the business. But look, we are more than happy to go to the Kentucky Derby in this condition with the horse.
Now, let me ask you: after winning the San Felipe, was the pressure off a little bit in the Santa Anita Derby, just to kind of, get him a little bit educated, a foundation, or anything like that? Like, what was the strategy going into that one?
Well, when you draw the one hole in a 5 horse field with the two Buffers horse into the race, which is going to be a jockey's ride, this doesn't help. Obviously, what I was looking for into the race is just to give him a nice, good race, educated him in the right way. Try to using his a long run, moving from the 3/8 pole, from the half-mile pole, being in a good position. But unfortunately, with the one hole, I wasn't able to do what I was expecting. So then going to the 3/8 pole, I have to make my way through to go to catch Citizen Bull at Baez ahead of me. And look, I think it's all about the horse, Jonathan. It's all about the horse. It's all about when you have a brave horse like that, then he's capable to make his way through. You just have to point him in the right direction. Most of the time they do the rest. I think the pressure, as you said, I was a little bit more nervous, honestly, in the Santa Anita Derby than the San Felipe, because the San Felipe was his first race back. And going to the Santa Anita Derby, you want to make sure, as I just told you, everything has to
Right.
be perfect. But look, I think he did in the meantime, that rough trip, school him a little bit more once he's gonna face 19 horses at Churchill Downs. So he's got already have some experience, and that's all benefit for the horse.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. When he was on the inside and you were kind of trying to get out or trying to get out of that position, and they kind of had you hemmed in there pretty good. Uh, that's the kind of thing I would think, as just an observer, that would benefit him a lot going into a race with such a cavalry charge like the Kentucky Derby. No.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's gonna be rough. There is a 19 horses. They're gonna be at 19 horses around him. Hopefully, we're gonna draw outside this time instead of it's been 2 times already. Then we are on the fence. But yeah, he's gonna gain just experience out of it. And I just saw some video, then him coming back on the track for those couple of days. He looks fantastic. He looks phenomenal. He's brave. He's a brave horse. He has such a strong mentality.
Right.
And that's what you're looking for, to build a champion. I think the main uh, the main engine in the horse, it's the brain. So if you have a brave horse like that, you are in a very healthy position.
Now, obviously, a race like the Derby, everything's got to go right. And often the best horse doesn't win. If you look at the history of the Kentucky Derby over 100, a lot of times the best horse doesn't win. Is there anything that you can do as a rider to kind of have a plan going into a race with 19 other horses, or you just kind of have to break and watch what happens around you and kind of play to how the race unfolds?
Look, Jonathan, I think, from what I learn, from what I see from the past Kentucky Derby, from what I listen from, some Hall of Fame riders, what I do ask to those Hall of Fame riders, because I like to ask, I like to know, I like to gain some tips, if those good riders, they can help you, it's always a benefit. Uh, but at the end of the day, the main important things is to not overthinking. It's just to know about. You have to know just about your horse. You have to take care about your horse. Now, as I told you, it depends which draw we're gonna pull. The key is at the start. He's a good breaker horse. Hopefully, he's gonna be okay in that little gates at Churchill Down, because those gates they are really tiny.
Right.
And look, going from there is a horse. Then he has some nice gate speed for a mile and a quarter horse. I think he can put me in the nice position. That's what I'm looking for. And it's all about how he's gonna break and how much speed is gonna be into the race. he's a horse, and he can come with such a long acceleration on the outside. He's gonna, make once you start to make his move, he's a brave horse, and I think the long stretch, Churchill Down is gonna suit him pretty well, and the best horses. I mean, hopefully the best horse is gonna win.
Yeah. I think, but believe it or not, he actually on Thoroughgraph ran a faster race in the San Felipe than he did in the San Renita Derby. And if he runs back on the Thoroughgraph figures to that race, then he's going to be a handful to beat. Last thing we'll touch on. A couple of years ago, I don't even remember how many now, you first came to the United States. 5 years. Okay, 5 years ago, you first came to the United States. We spoke. I believe that day that we would one day be having this conversation. I mean, just being in this position. Did you?
From my point of view, you want to have this type of conversation.
Absolutely.
I'm a that type of jockey. Then I'm never happy with what I have. I always try to rise, keep rising. You wanna do your best. I do this seems 20 years now, and I never put a goal in my life. I want to just getting better and better. And I think, I feel a better rider now. I'm 36 years old. I'm going to be 37 this year, which is tough for me for believing that. Then I'm already, it's been already 20 years that I'm a rider. And there is one thing you can gain with the age. It's the experience. You can't buy that anywhere. So
that's true.
The experience makes you a better person, a better man, a better jockey, a better father, a better husband. And, at this time, I really feel good. I'm a very good point of my life where everything is good around me, And with the spirit like that, going to ride probably the most important race of your life, that's very, very important, to have your mind clear, the full support of the family, the parents, the owners, the trainers. That's very important. So I'm glad then to be in this position 5 years. Where I come from 5 years ago. And look, John, I always think if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So I keep my fingers crossed. The only things I want just a proper race where I don't want to have any regrets. I want it. If I'm going to win, I will win because he's the best. If we got beat by better horse, we're going to be beat by better horse. But one thing is sure, I don't want any regrets.
That's the right attitude and the right position to be, going into the race. I remember years ago when Bob Baffert ran a horse named Cavanier in the Derby. He lost by a lip.
Yes.
You couldn't put a piece of paper in between him and the winner. And he said,
Jerry Bailey won that Kentucky
exactly.
Derby.
Grindstone beat him right on the inside, and on the outside rather. And he said, I walked out of there thinking, that's my shot. I'll never win another Derby. That was my one shot to do it. And look what happened. So I'll end with this. I want you to win the race this year more than anything, probably as much as you do. But I'll say this. I believe, and have believed this for 5 years, there is a Kentucky Derby with the name Umberto Rispoli on it. Hopefully it's 2025. So
I hope so.
Go get the money.
Hope God listen to you and listen. As I said, if he's already reading in the stars, he is already up there. So we just need to wait to the 3rd of May to figure to see if it's true or not.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on, Umberto. I really appreciate it. All the best on the first Saturday in May and on all your rides leading up to that and afterwards. Always rooting for you. You know that, my man.
It's always a pleasure for me, Jonathan, to be with you. You were the first person to give me an interview when I came to United States. So I will be grateful to you forever.
I knew you were one of the best riders in the world. Okay, I'll end this now. We'll say goodbye real quick, and I'll let you get back to business. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
For some, they say it's the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. For us, it's about potential financial opportunities. Never bring a knife to a gunfight, and make no mistake, big money is up for grabs, and this is a fight. Never settle for second best. The Past the Wire annual Kentucky Derby seminar. Nobody does it better. Preparation is key. Be better prepared, delve deeper, stealth. They won't see us coming and they won't know we're there. Money management, ticket structure, pace, all the intangibles, thoroughgraph, everything that matters to make it count, to have that edge. In the end, if things go as planned, it'll be like we stole the money. There's a lot of ways to handicap a horse race and a lot of ways to bet on it. But nobody that I know does it like Gio Setti and his full card, precise order handicap. Every horse in the race gets a predicted order of finish like only Gio can do, way beyond a deep dive, available exclusively on select days at Past the Wire. This is important, so you're going to want to remember it. If you're a cat and you want to become a lion, you're going to have to lose your taste for rats.
Hey, Sure Bet Coffee. Put that giddy up in your cup. That giddy up in your cup. Sure Bet Coffee.
The legend himself, Frankie Dettori. Ciao, Frankie. Tutto a posto.
Tutto a posto. Yes, that's a good start. So you haven't lost your Italian.
You're watching Past the Wire TV, presented by Am Wager.
Tracking trips at Past the Wire. There is no better time than now to join and ride with this clan. We'll be your second set of expert trained eyes. We ain't gonna buy you a fish. Sure, we'll give you some, but more importantly, we'll show you how to fish and make you a better better. CAWs, sharks in the water, no problem. We'll go against anybody, and we have the track record to prove it. Big days, big pools, and select days all year long. We'll outplay them all. Looking for an ace? You're in the right place. Want to find that diamond? Be with us. Want to know more? Just ask a member or visit us at pastthewire.com and check out the tracking trips page. Nobody does it better. Remember, the older you get, the better you get. Unless you're a banana.
It's The Wire TV, your #1 source for horse racing news and interviews, handicapping analysis, betting insights, and more. Past the Wire TV covers the biggest races at the best tracks.
Garnet and Luis Saez to win the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga.
The Grey Wizard is absolutely flying. Champagne won. The Grey Wizard. Oh, it's very close. Leave it to the judge.
Like, share, and subscribe to Past the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.
Blood. That makes you related. Loyalty. That makes you family.
Nobody does it better.